right now, as we got a look at the winning boat of Steve Reynolds. And you don't think it's rough out there? Take a look at that windshield. Just chopped off, and it probably happened in that wake jumping adventure that Steve had when he was trying to get around Chip Hanauer. What a wild, wild ride for this young man, Steve Reynolds. Take one more look at those results, and let's not forget that Hanauer, because of his DNF, gets no points. He's the quick qualifier. That could be trouble for him. Let's go to Steve Evans.
Boy, deck to deck for a couple of laps. The people on the banks going crazy, and all of a sudden your power kind of went away.
See what they're going to do? They're going to take my hydroplane license away and give me an FAA certificate.
She was flying.
Yeah, it really was. But you've got to travel at those speeds and that conditions. You got to fly the boat. Sometimes it's out of control. You know, I was along for the ride.
Well, you welded him on the start.
Thank you. I mean, it was a good start. We had timed that earlier in the week, Steven, and felt good.
But now what can Jerry Verhill and the crew do to the boat to improve that handling characteristic?
Well, the water conditions are so lumpy. I don't know that there's anything we can do. You know, you got to fly over to pound through it, which is more damaging to your equipment. We'll talk about it. We'll analyze it. We'll make the right decision.
One thing, it needs a new windshield.
Yeah, it needs a new one of those. Thank God it's a water sport.
Thank you. Steve Reynolds in great spirits. Who wouldn't be? And Brooks, with the second boats have qualified for this all-important race. The favorite has got to be the Miss 711 boat owned by Steve Woomer, driven by Steve Reynolds, the only turbine boat to make the final. The clock ticking away, Brock Yates. Everybody trying to anticipate that start.
And it looks as if Scott Pierce has jumped out, but there goes Steve Reynolds in the turbine boat trying to come down, and yeah, a perfect start. Steve Reynolds in the middle there in the turbine, and on the outside, that's Jim Kropfeld and Miss Budweiser. Look at him fly. Ooh, almost got it a blow over. That boat got way, way up on its hull as they hooked down into turn number one. It's Pierce, Reynolds, and Kropfeld out front, with Andy Coker and Jerry Hopp fighting it out for the fourth spot.
Look at this. Steve Reynolds on the inside in the turbine boat. On the outside, the piston engine Miss Budweiser. Now, Reynolds seems to have this race in hand, Brock. The boat is handling beautifully. Crew chief Jerry Verhill has done all the right setup. Look at it. It's almost perfect.
Textbook piece of race driving there by Steve Reynolds. You got a quick peek at Chip Hanauer in the Miller American boat. He, of course, is dead in the water, got in there, hoping that somebody wouldn't start. No way now. The race is on, and Hanauer's out for the day.
And here comes a challenge from the Miss Budweiser boat. All over the river is Jim Kropfeld, giving it everything he's got, all the nitrous possible, but still he's having trouble keeping up with the turbine-powered boat on the inside, Steve Reynolds.
Well, right now, Jim Kropfeld's sure thinking, boy, I wish that turbine of mine hadn't blown up in that test run in Seattle. But he's given it everything. Look at this. As they go down into turn number one, it's Kropfeld just tucked right in against the outside hull of Steve Reynolds. Reynolds, though, right in against the pins. This is a very, very tight race, and both these guys are using the inside line, Steve.
This is the tightest we have seen Kropfeld take the Bud boat around those buoys. Reynolds has done it in every heat because the boat is so much lighter. Kropfeld is really going for it.
Kropfeld's boat, one of the heaviest on the circuit with that big Rolls-Royce Griffin engine. Really a bulky piece. Scott Pierce now riding in third place. Doesn't look like he's running quite as quickly as he did before. But you know what? Don't forget, Steve, we got a damaged boat out there. Reynolds' boat, as you pointed out, has that sponson with a hole in it, but it doesn't look as if it's hurting things right now. But who's to know? Fatigue could enter into this problem, and he could break something before it's over with.
Well, Scott Pierce just settled back there in third. He'll take those points rather than abuse that boat trying to chase down the front runners. Look at that beautiful turbine boat, Miss 711. Fantastic piece of machinery.
Well, he's broken loose from everybody right now. That, of course, is Kropfeld coming down to the second spot, but he's down the back straightaway. A beautiful shot from our helicopter. He has only about another mile and a half to go before victory is his. Underneath the bridge in the Ohio River, down into turn number 3, hooks that big boat around those pins, and right in front of him, the finishing straight. Also in front of him, Jerry Hopp, who's about to lap for 5th place.
This would be the first win for this team in this particular season. Last year with another sponsor, they won a race they called the World Championship down in Texas. But for the Miss 711 boat, this would be the first victory of the year, and a sweet one it'll be for boat owner Steve Woomer. Getting around, Jerry Hopp putting him a lap down. The checkered flag is is out. There's Woomer in the blue shirt, fist in the air to Hollywood handsome Steve Reynolds, who wins the Budweiser Indiana Governor's Cup race.
And don't forget, he did it with a boat that had a little bit of damage to its hull, so a great show. Here's a surprise. Kroffeld, riding in second place, brings Miss Budweiser to a halt coming off of turn 4. Steve, he's got some problems. I don't think he's going to finish.
It doesn't look like it, and you know what that means. Second place and more points will go to the Executone boat, and Scott Pierce, you can hear Scott coming out of turn.
Cockpit racing as Steve Reynolds waves at the fans lining the shores here and heads down, backs out of the throttle on that big turbine and heads into the pit area to meet a very happy crew. I'll guarantee you that.
Listen to the roar coming from that dock block for Steve Reynolds as he climbs out of the boat while it's still scooting through the water. He can't wait to give a hug to his crew chief, Jerry Burhill, and of course the boat owner, Steve Woomer. Costs an awful lot of money to run one of these craft.
It sure does. Those turbine motors are very, very expensive, but they paid off for everybody today. Excellent drive by Steve Reynolds. First, he had to fight it out with Chip Hanauer. Then he had to go up against Jim Kroffeld, and in both cases came out the victor.
And even Bernie Little, the owner of the Budweiser boat, impressed with Steve Reynolds' performance today, gives him a well-deserved pat on the old life preserver. We'll be back to talk to the top finishers here in Madison, Indiana, right after this.
River, but before we talk to the winners, let's throw a couple of bouquets to the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary and their boat, the Zachary Taylor. That was the source of those beautiful low-level, high-speed shots down the back straightaway here, and we thank those guys for letting us use their boat today. Steve Reynolds, Scott Pierce, overall winners here. Jerry Hopp, Andy Coker, Jim Kroffeld rounds it out. Let's go to the winner.
Steve Reynolds. His first victory of the season, second for the Steve Woomer-owned crew out of Kent, Washington. Congratulations. A beautiful drive, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Where's the rest of this crew?
They're over here behind it. Steve, tell us about the first couple of laps. Kroffeld appeared to at least be in the hunt then.
Oh, let me tell you, Jim Kroffeld and the Budweiser ran as strong as anybody can run on this race course today. I think maybe we had a little advantage in the turbine engine coming off the corners, and that may have been the difference. But Budweiser, they're tough competitors. They never, ever give up. Same with Executone. I could feel them both breathing down my neck the whole way. I kept screaming on the radio to Jerry Verhill, tell me, please tell me where they are.
Might have been going a little faster than you should have in that water.
Well, every time we go out, Steve, we go to run as hard as we can possibly run. And I think today was an example of just exactly what a great field of unlimiteds we bring down here to Madison, Indiana. If it was as much fun for the rest of these people to watch as it was for us out there to participating, it was a great race and a great day.
I assure you, they had as much fun. And a beautiful day. Steve Woomer, boat owner, congratulations.
Thank you, Steve.